Hello, friends. Welcome to The Way Home, Crossnore Communities for Children's Facebook Live show, as well as our podcast. My name is Holly Kessler, and I'm the Senior Director of Community Relations at Crossnore. We are here every Tuesday afternoon talking with one or two of our staff members or sometimes a community partner about the work that we do, the child welfare system, different ways that we're engaging in our community. So if you miss our live show, you can always catch it on our Facebook feed, or the show is available on our YouTube channel as well. And then the podcast comes out on Fridays on our blog at crossnore.org. So there are plenty of ways to watch and engage with us each week. Today, my guest is Dr. CYNDI AUSTIN. Dr. Austin is the principal of Marjorie Williams Academy on our Crossnore's Avery campus. And she is going to talk about what a public charter school is, how Williams Academy fits into our trauma-informed care model, and how you might even apply to send your children to Williams. And so join me in welcoming Dr. Austin to the show today. Good morning, friend.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Doing very well. It's good to see you.
Good. I think it's maybe a teacher work day today.
It is.
Yes. Well, good. So you'll hopefully have maybe a little quieter day than normal, right?
Yes.
Good. Well, before we get started, introduce yourself to our audience and tell us about your role at Williams Academy and anything else that you want to share about your life.
Okay. My name is Dr. CYNDI AUSTIN. This is my 11th year here as the principal of Marjorie Williams Academy. I taught here for 7 years after leaving what we call in the charter world the traditional system, because we are a public school as well. So we refer to the traditional system, public school, as traditional. But I've taught in the traditional system for 10 years. I had the opportunity to come here at that time, which was Crossnore Academy. Taught here for 7 years, went back to school to get my master's and then on to get to my doctorate. During my doctorate, I interned with the former CEO, Phyllis Crane, here on the campus to get a wide range of knowledge for not only superintendent and running a charter school, but also as far as the campus and a residential community as well. So that was a wonderful experience. And then in August of 2012, I became the principal, and I've been here ever since. So I have traditional and charter school teaching experience and administrative experience here as a charter leader.
Well, that is awesome. I was kind of adding on my fingers, but I lost count. I don't think you look old enough to have all of that experience.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, tell us exactly where Williams Academy is located. And you mentioned the residential component. So talk about that connection with Crossnore.
Okay. Marjorie Williams Academy is a K-12 public charter school that is housed on the campus of Crossnore Communities for Children. We serve the residential students as well as students from the neighboring counties, the community students, Watauga, Avery, Mitchell, and we had a student from McDowell last year.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. That is awesome. And so how many students do you currently serve, or what is the capacity at Williams?
We have had our average daily membership been as high as 155. We were around 130. Presently, we are low with a count of about 75, but serving students that are residential students, our ADM kind of stays the same, but we will have served over 100 students by the end of the year. With the fluctuation of DSS and court cases and adoptions and things like that. So students, it's fluid. The number kind of stays the same throughout the year, but who you start off with is not necessarily who you end up with in June serving on this. So we serve, over 100, but on an average day, we have about 70 students presently.
Okay. Yeah. And that's a little bit the nature of residential because we are
Yes.
caring for children in foster care. And so sometimes those children are able to go home, or they're
Right.
adopted, or their case plan changes or something like
Yes.
that. So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. Well, tell us about your faculty. I think one of the questions that we get a lot of times when we talk about our charter school is like, who works there, and do you have a lot of turnover? Are they a highly qualified staff? I know you're very proud of your faculty, so
Yes.
tell us about them.
We are a highly qualified staff. We have about a 10-to-1 ratio. In some classes, it's even less than that, 5-to-1 student to teacher ratio.
Mhm.
Our teachers are licensed in the area that they teach, and we even have some that go back to school, and we have one right now even taking the praxis to be able to expand her teaching down to the elementary level. So our teachers are more than willing to do whatever it takes to get licensed in the area that we need them. We have
Mhm.
teachers that are EC licensed as well as regular curriculum licensed. And about half of our staff have higher degrees, masters. And we have 3 presently that are also working on an add-on degree.
Wow. They sound busy. They're teaching
Yes,
and going to school. So
absolutely,
they're really
absolutely.
busy. Yeah. What kind of, I know you offer like core classes, so I'm interested a little bit in the curriculum. Sometimes people will ask us, in a public charter school, which is typically maybe a smaller school,
Yes.
what kind of specials do you offer? Is it just the core classes, or are there other enrichment sort of classes that
We
you
have
offer?
other enrichment
Mhm.
classes. We have what's called the specials, and art, PE, and computer labs. We have keyboarding that's available. For the high school, we have teachers that once the cores are scheduled, the teachers then will go and design their own specials class
Mhm.
elective for the students to be able to choose from. We've had anything from we have life science, which is kind of like a life skills. We used to call it Adulting 101. Um, moved it to life skills, in which they learn how to change a tire,
Right.
about insurance, how to write checks, those personal finance pieces that we have. But we've just recently started, and we're very excited about this. Our K2 are taking in class from an instructor who comes in during the school day and is teaching tap, jazz, and tumbling to our
Oh
K2
my.
students. We will be opening up to the fifth grade, the third, fourth, and fifth graders next year. We'll be able to schedule that in. We were just kind of seeing how it goes. It's a huge hit for all of our students. We were able to get a donation so that the tap shoes and jazz shoes, as well as the costumes that will be
Right.
provided for the end of year recital, that has all been paid for. So it's at no cost to the student, to the parent.
That is amazing. I can remember when my daughter was little bitty and taking, like you said, tap, ballet,
Yes,
jazz, whatever, and they are just absolutely adorable at
yes.
that age.
And this way, you don't have to run around after school, after work to
Yeah.
take them from one place to another, but they're exposed to this art and absolutely loving it during school time. And it's a great way, in addition to the PE time, but the students absolutely love this. They're also working on sign language and handbells as well. So at the end of the
Wow.
year, they will showcase all of their new talents.
That is amazing. Well, I want to know when the recital is, because I'll come up there especially for that. That
Fantastic.
is really cool. That's really cool. Well, and I know that, with your art classes with Mrs. Woody, I love so much of what she does. I see it put out, a lot of times on y'all's social media, on her personal social media, and we're able to use a lot of the art that she helps the kids create to create those kids art note cards.
Oh, yeah.
that we
Yeah.
sell, which are really, really cool.
That's fantastic. Yeah, she is very creative and the students absolutely love it.
Yeah, she is. She's terrific. And she's one of the teachers that have been there the longest, I think, hasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. Since you guys are connected to Crossnore and we talk a lot about our trauma informed care model, do you at the Academy then provide specialized training for the faculty and staff in trauma informed care and trauma resilience?
We do. We are sanctuary. We follow the sanctuary guidelines, and we also use Love and Logic. And I am a certified trainer in both in the sanctuary model of care and in Love and Logic. So we have professional development on those, and then we implement those in the classroom.
Okay. Those are really terrific programs and sort of lead back into my next question that a lot of times we get asked about our charter school is managing classroom behaviors.
Mhm.
That's sort of a question in any school, but I think with our connection with the Academy's connection with Crossnore, obviously we are serving children who have experienced trauma. And so what does that look like on a daily basis in the classroom in helping kids manage their emotions, make good decisions, all of those things that we want for them in a trauma-informed environment?
Yes. So we all recognize that not just the residential, but
Sure.
community students as well as adults. I mean, we're all carrying trauma with us, and our reaction to any particular event could stem from that trauma. So as far as the teachers are concerned, we talk about in our professional development, before you react to the student, kind of step back and see, is this something that's being, triggering in you? Are you seeing something
Mhm.
like this? And so that your reaction needs to be more of empathy than a reaction of some type of memory coming from that experience yourself. But the teachers are very good about taking a step back, sometimes taking themselves out of it. You got to take the emotion out of it. I mean,
Mhm.
students are not reacting necessarily to you, but they're just experiencing something in that moment, and you might have reminded them of something. You might have,
Mhm.
we've had, teachers before that have had issues with students, come to find out it's the same perfume that their mother wore.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so it's building a relationship with the student so that we're not reacting. We're just sitting down, having a conversation with them. Okay, so what is it? And sometimes you've got to dig a little deeper because the student
Mhm.
doesn't even know why they reacted to you
Right.
the way that they did. So it's setting them aside and talking to them and building that relationship with them one on one. So there's a
Mhm.
balance in that, because if that happens and it interrupts the education of the other students in the class, you need to remove the student from the class so they can have that individual attention that they need from you. Now, whether that's with myself or assistant principal or another teacher stepping in to maintain the education for the other students while the teacher talks to
Mm.
the student about what's going on, or is it that something that I need to, pull the student aside to remove them from whatever it is that's causing an issue, and I bring them into the office and I'll say, okay, now what's really going on here? Let's talk about this. Let's get down and dig deep and find out what's really bothering you, because I'm sure it's not the fact that the teacher asked you to use a pencil, or
Right.
but something, a little small thing, and they will, a lot of times they will open up, and then we talk about some different ways to handle the situation in the class, and some other ways that they can go about it without blowing up in the classroom and causing a disruption to their education as well as any other student's education. So we come up with a plan. We
Mhm.
refer back to the safety plans. The safety plans
Mhm.
are in the classroom. Safety plans are plan 5 things that a student and teacher, both on the first day of school, the classroom comes up with, okay, if something was to happen and I need to take a break, these are the 5 things that the teacher will allow and that the student agrees to do. Times it might be go get a drink of water, asked to go, and they can put themselves in timeout if they want to. If they just say, hey, I need to get out of this classroom, they can come into Miss Maines, who's our assistant principal, and they'll have a little card. She'll have in the card, and it's just said, I'm in a timeout. I don't want to talk to anybody. And so that the student will sit there for, 10 minutes. And then before we go back to class, we try to get to the underlying cause of what caused this. I just felt like I was going to blow up, or so-and-so said something to me this morning in breakfast, and there they are in my class. And, just their presence was getting on my nerves, or something to that effect. Yeah. So we talked to them about, okay, are you ready to re-enter into the classroom and get back to your education? And, after they have decided, yes, this is what I'm willing to do, we also will definitely commend them on taking matters into their own hands and pulling themselves out of the situation instead of things, getting worse. And then they'll go back, they'll go back to the classroom and all is well. If it's something that it looks like it's going to brew all day long, then we'll bring both of the students into the classroom or into my office, and we'll talk about it. And, how are you going to get along? The situation is what the situation is. So how are you going to go and focus in on your own education and not let these distractions, derail you from what you're here for?
So many things that you said really resonated with me. Like, I love the individual safety plans, the classroom safety plans. I think it's important for all of us to have, in mind those things that we can do when we feel like we're getting escalated. And may need to take a break ourselves. I love what you said too about if a child disrupts in the classroom, then the teacher is going to focus on that child, even if you or the assistant principal or someone else needs to come on in and continue the education for the rest of the class, rather than, sitting the child outside by themselves or, something like that. Really sort of more time in with an adult than a time out.
Yes.
Yeah. I really like that. And I love the fact that they can put themselves kind of in timeout, really just saying, hey, you know what? I need a break before I can even talk about this.
And the teachers can do that as well. Yeah. They just write down and say, I need to take a moment. Yeah. And, sometimes that it helps because with the nature of how students, kind of come in and out, they're fluid, and, one day they're here and then the next day they're, they come in to say goodbye. And we've had, several teachers, because that's not common in the traditional system, where, you're gonna, lose a student, and you're happy for them, especially if they're being reunited or being adopted out. But once a Williams Academy student, always a Williams Academy student, and a part of our heart goes out there with them. And so sometimes teachers just say, I just need to take a minute, and they will probably take a little bit more and go into the bathroom and might come out with some red eyes, but they will gather themselves out and just go and do the job that they need to do. But, teachers need some time out too, and to have that self reflection, to be able to say, I'm not going to be following 11 logic, or I'm not going to be following the sanctuary model of care. I need to get a hold of myself. And so I think it's important too that adults put themselves in timeout before they say or do something that, that they don't mean to do.
Absolutely. And I loved your story. I mean, that's just a great example of those healthy attachments that are built with the children, and that we also recognize that even in a time of celebration, there's still a loss sometimes. Yes. And so we want to recognize that and work through it too. So yeah, that's really, really good trauma-informed care. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so for a public charter school, then, that's not a school that kids are just assigned to. Is there an application process? Is there a time frame? How does all of that work?
Well, all public charters have to have an open enrollment time. You have to
Mhm.
apply in order to get into the public charter. And then what happens is if they have more applications than they have slots available, then you go into a lottery system. But presently, we do not have a waiting list. We have had open enrollment. Our open enrollment lasts a little bit longer than the larger public charter schools.
Mhm.
Our open enrollment ends on July 15th. So we have to have the application in the office by that day. Our application is posted online at Williams Academy, and it's www.williamsacademy.org. The apply button, I believe, is a little bit different color, but it's up in the top part of our on our homepage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I refer to it as a hot. You can fill it out,
Right.
and it goes straight to our IT department. Our IT department turns around and sends it to us, and we will contact you immediately for
Great.
your what enrollment, if you're looking for immediate enrollment or if you are looking for next year's enrollment.
And that was a question I was going to ask too, is can people enroll immediately, or is it like the beginning of the school year kind of thing?
If you don't have a waiting list, you can enroll immediately.
Okay.
And we do not presently have a waiting list. But for the most part, I think, parents and the applications that are coming in, they're wanting to finish out the year.
Sure.
And then they're looking for 2023-24 enrollment.
That's terrific. Well, Dr. Austin, is there anything else that you would tell us about Williams Academy today?
I just think it's the best school. I'm not even going to say best charter school. I think it's the best school in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you and your staff work so hard, and we're so appreciative for all that you do for all of the kids that come to Williams Academy, and for the ways that you guys really pour into those students and really help them to be successful as they dream it, believe it, and achieve it, right?
Absolutely. Good. Thank you so much. I will let them know that you said that.
Good. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. It was great to learn more about Marjorie Williams Academy. Sure.
Thank you. And I appreciate everything you do.
Absolutely. Well, friends, as I have thanked Dr. Austin for being with us today, let me also say thanks to each of you who are watching or listening. We appreciate the opportunity to tell you more about Crossnore and today about Williams Academy. For more information, please visit our website at crossnore.org or follow us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. That's it for today, but I hope you will join us again next week on The Way Home.